How many days do you get for leftovers?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm still eating leftovers. They got about a week. I'm not gonna lie. They got about a week. And I'm doing the smell test.
Oh yeah, there's still leftovers getting eaten.
Not the vision test.
A week
the smell
is crazy.
Test. I'm planning to eat it like 2 or 3 more days. I ain't gonna lie to you, my boy.
I'm 3 days. I'm 3 days and out, bro.
You crazy.
3 days and out, bro.
Crazy for that.
Too much time goes into making it.
Saturday
3 days
is my last day, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No.
But for you, is it because you're just tired of eating it, or is it because you just don't think it's good anymore?
I don't think that food, like, how long is cooked food supposed to sit in the fridge?
What are where is your basis of this? Like, how long food can stay in the fridge?
Especially certain foods.
Like what?
Based on dairy, like mac and cheese, bro. I'm not about to, like, 5-day-old mac and cheese. I'm not about to smack. It's just not. You
gotta heat that up with a little barbecue sauce on the side. It might go crazy.
Nah, bro.
You sound crazy. I'm not gonna lie, my boy. You sound crazy.
All right, this is.
I'm looking up the science behind it.
And then tell me the name of the person that wrote the article.
It say 3 to 4 days, right?
If you making regular dinner, say you make chicken and rice, right?
Exactly.
Wow. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, you can safely eat cooked leftovers in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days, bro. I want the nastiness coming back in Rivalry.
I'm not gonna lie, my boy. You sound crazy.
Shift your identity in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you think.
Welcome back to another episode of Breaking House Rules. I'm Cam Wolfe. We got Vaughn here. We got Dre. Happy late Thanksgiving for everybody. Good vibes here.
Good vibes.
For me and Vaughn, we finally thawed out from Green Bay. Thanks. Tough L against the Packers, but a lot of things we want to hit on in this episode. And I love this platform for us because there's a lot that's happened on social media this week. There's a lot that's happened across the NFL with the Texas linebacker getting suspended for Trevor Lawrence hit. And we'll have some holiday talk as well. But first, let's dive into some of the perspective of the Fins, right? Because you're on a 3-game winning streak. You lose in Lambeau, and everything turns perception-wise to the negative, right? And so I want to start with this because, you look on social media, you look on Twitter and Instagram, and fans are upset right now, right? And some of it has become like a little bit personal, right? I've seen some comments towards you. I've seen some comments towards other players. I'm on the team. Where do you guys view where the relationship is between the Dolphins and the fan base right now?
I mean, it's a restless fan base at the end of the day. Yeah. Haven't won a playoff game in 20 plus years. Right. Haven't won the division since like 2008, and that was the year that Brady got hurt. Right. So it's a frustrated fan base, and when you win, it gets buried. When you lose, everything just gets exasperated times a million, right? I think as the years go on and the expectations with this team going into the year, and you start 2-6, and just everything that's compiled over the year, you start, you hear it when you're 2-6, fire this person, and then that narrative starts to change, and then now it's like we're going to point the finger at players, right? And I think they're just looking for an escape as to blame somebody without really knowing the whole narrative of everything that goes on, right? Reality is there's probably a bunch of blame to point around, right? Yeah. And fans are just going to find someone to point it at, and they might not have all the facts, which I think that's like the messed up part about all of this, is because we don't really know everything that goes on behind closed doors, yet we have a voice that we think we know everything. So when it comes to that dynamic, to answer your question, I think it's a mix of frustration, and it's just a mix of fans being fans.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, fans are going to say what they want to say. Like, whether they're, you're winning games and the team is the greatest team they've ever experienced when we scored 70 points, or, you lose a game and they're like, fire everybody, get rid of Jevon and Tua and Tyreek, and these guys are poverty. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're never gonna satisfy a fan because they always want more. I don't hold no weight on the 24 years of not winning a playoff game. I've been on the Dolphins for this is my 4th year, so I only got 4 years of me being on the Dolphins losing playoff games. 2 losses by the Bills, 1 loss by the Kansas City Chiefs. So all that extra 20 years of baggage that y'all don't got shit to do with me. The shoe don't fit. I'm going to play hard on the team, and I'm going to try to win games because I love playing for this team and I love playing for the organization. But those 20 years that I wasn't there got nothing to do about me. So if you want to throw all that baggage at me, that's fine. I'm just not going to hear it because you're not going to be able to comment on none of my shit. You're not going to be able to DM me because I don't know you. You don't got no say in my life and what I do. So I'm going to keep on focusing on the things that I can control and the people that matter in my life so that I can go out there and perform on Sunday. Yeah, the people across the ball get paid too. They played well. They played hard. We tried to play well. We tried to play hard. First half, it didn't go our way. We were missing tackles, whatnot. They were capitalizing on the situation that was at hand. Second half, we came out. Defense was on our shit. They scored 6 points after halftime, and two field goals. So, and we still gave them that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they played well and they capitalized and they played complimentary football, which they're supposed to do.
Yep.
But I feel like a lot of the things that they got success in, we gave them missed tackles, misalignments, just mental errors that we weren't on top of. And whether it's a short week or whatever the fuck, doesn't matter. We need to be on our shit. So, yeah, if you're upset about that, that's 100% valid. Like, I get it. We lost the game. We didn't capitalize on the things we needed to capitalize on and get the W. But the game is over with now. So it's time to go next week. Like, if you want to hold on to that, hey, look, that's your personal opinion. You can let that drop of black cloud your beautiful painting. But for me, I'm going to just go ahead and move on to the next week. Take what I need to and improve and leave everything else behind me because if I'm just dwelling on a loss, it's going to affect me into the next week where I can capitalize on what I need to capitalize on and take the W. So
it's just a margin of error is just small, you know. So when we dug ourselves in the hole that we did in the beginning of the year, it just like now everything just feels like, all right, season's over, right. Which it's not necessarily over.
Yep.
It sucks that we're not getting the teams to lose that we need to lose, right? Because now as a fan, you start playing the hate watching, right? You watched the Browns game last night. You're rooting hard as hell for Jameis. You know, you're rooting for the Colts to lose. You're rooting for the Chargers to lose. You're rooting for all these teams that are there in the bubble, which you hate to play that game, right? Because now it's just like it's an endless catch up, and then you know you got to give credit to the Packers. It's a good team, well coached team, and they played a good game. And we've talked about it multiple times on the pod, right? Where you get away with things against teams that maybe not so good, like the Patriots, like the Raiders, right? Where, maybe we didn't play a great game, but we came out victorious, and a lot of this stuff gets buried under the rug.
Right.
We made a lot of mistakes against the Packers. Good teams take advantage of that.
For sure.
That's, to me, what's been the biggest difference with this team this year. It's playing good football, right? You look, especially obviously when Tua's back on the field, playing good football, but you look at little points throughout the game, right? The drop punt, a couple penalties here and there, a couple missed throws on a drive from Tua. And it's just like, maybe some of those things aren't a huge deal, but when you stack them up and a good team takes advantage of those things, you're going to lose those games every single time. You play like that against the Bills, you're going to lose. Play like that against the Chiefs, you're going to lose. You play like that against the Packers, the Lions, because those teams are too good that they will take advantage of that.
I mean, it's really damage control. I mean, it's the same, similar to what golf is. Like if you if you are bad off the tee and you can't, get back into the fairway and get back on track, then you're continuing to spiral. The person that you're playing against, whether it's a high-level player, Colin Morikawa or Scotty Scheffler, like they're going to capitalize on that and go, like take a couple strokes. You know what I'm saying? Like
true.
So it's really just damage control and being able to get back on track. And when you're in an environment where they're rowdy, it's a nighttime primetime game, like stakes are high. You get in a situation where you're trying to do almost too much, and you get in a position where you're overexerting yourself, and they take advantage of that because now you're not somewhere where you're supposed to be because you're trying to make a play. So it's difficult to be in that position, like playing behind the sticks almost, trying to make a play, but not try too much because then they're going to take advantage of you wanting it too much, and then so.
A couple things there, like both of you guys had really good perspective there. As I'm listening to you talk, the first thing that came to my mind was the last phrase you said, trying too hard to do something, right? We all knew talking into the game about the narratives that media put on the team, cold weather against winning team, primetime games, all this talk about Tua. As I was there watching the game, I wondered if there was extra pressure put on whether it's individual players or just a team as a whole, of we have to prove this. We have to do that. And it almost looked like when I was watching it, a tight team, a team that, maybe is trying too hard to not make mistakes, and in turn you make mistakes. And the Packers looked like they were playing with a freer energy, just kind of what I was watching, especially in the first half.
Yeah.
The second thing is you were talking about the fan base, and I think it's such an interesting point because this team has not won in 24 years, and so my experience with the Dolphins, they're naturally pessimistic, and that's why I said last week, hopium's a dangerous drug. When your pessimism's all the way down and you've given up on the team, you get to apathy where you don't care. But then when you get the hope again, it is dangerous. And as you talked about the 24 years, kind of remind me of like maybe you're a rugged lover. You've been hurt so many times. You've been in these relationships, and so many years you've been hurt. Right. Different. If you're a woman, different men, different women have just hurt you, and you finally feel like, you know what, this is gonna be the one, and they lose again, and all the baggage that you have, every single failed year that you had that hope that you thought, it all pressures to the one. And so maybe that's why there's a little bit of the extra. Like I've seen it on social media, fans asking, get rid of Vaughn, don't sign him, or Deshaun was talking about Vaughn or whatever like that, right? Which to me, there's a lot of issues on the Dolphins watching. I don't think that you were anywhere near the top or the middle of the issues. Just me as a viewer.
But that's what I'm saying. Like,
people need someone to blame.
They need somebody to blame, and they need somebody who is seemingly an easy target. I'm not in the media much. I don't be saying shit for real. I'm just to myself. We got a platform. I'm always on social media. So yeah, it's easy to go at guys that are always on social media. And if you're not really watching the game, like, the untrained eye is going to take the first person they see, and whatever they say, they're just going to flip it back on them. Like, I'm not even talking. I'm tweeting on Sunday. This dude cut me off in traffic, and I'm like, bro, you just be mad for no reason. He cut me off and then got mad at me. So I'm like, I'm tweeting about the dude. And I don't have none in the comments on my Twitter. I turned them off because I'm like, y'all don't got nothing to do with my life, and I don't know any of y'all, so you don't get to comment on anything I do. So people start quote tweeting the tweet. Somebody's like, this dude's not getting extended. He's like, this guy's going to take a pay cut. First of all, bro, it's not even your bread. So why are you pocket watching? Ask yourself that. Second of all, I'm like, bro, you don't even know what I'm tweeting about. Y'all just getting upset about nothing. I'm not even playing today. It's my day off, and y'all tweeting at me. Like, come on, bro. So you taking your nice Sunday and you arguing with me? Look, just go listen to some music. Go for a walk or something.
Like, or touch grass.
Touch some grass, man. Touch some grass. Like, I had somebody commented on our like collab post and was like, none of the Dolphins follow this page. Like, I wonder how that's in the locker room. I'm like, I didn't even think about that for real. But I've had my teammates on the show, so like, what are we? And I told them like, yo, y'all get on the show, but they all follow me on Instagram. So what are we talking about? Like,
it's people got to comment about everything.
People just got to comment. Everybody got an opinion,
think about that process too. Somebody went out of their way to be like, all right, I'm gonna open up the Breaking House Rules page, and I'm gonna look at everyone that follows that shit. And be like, damn, all right. And be like, bro, you're looking, why are you looking that deep into it?
Like, fam.
Right. I think, so this dynamic is so interesting, and I think that's a part of like why we did this Breaking House Rule pod. You got a player in the mix of it, a fan in the mix of it, a media member in the mix of it. The dynamics, I think, have become a lot more toxic in recent years. And so, like, I wanted to spend a couple minutes just talking about that because Tyreek Hill said a couple of weeks ago, he felt like a lot of the landscape for fans, the players, was different because of fantasy football, because of betting. He felt like because of that, there's an ownership element. There's I own you on my team, or you're part of my parlay, so you owe me some type of, performance, which is wild to think about. But, people throw their $20 on the parlay, you don't get their yardage or their amount of tackles, and you're culpable for not paying their bills this week. Crazy society, but I guess for each of you guys, because you're in a different stance than I am, but like the relationship between your favorite team's players as a fan and fans who are supportive, passionate, but can go wildly the other way depending on the play. Like, how have you maybe seen that evolve?
I mean, there is some irrational stuff that goes on. Like, I know people that have DM'd, and I mean, we've seen it all over Twitter, but I've seen some of my boys DM players that have just like underperformed and cost them a playoff spot in their fantasy league. And I'm like, bro, one, he's probably not going to see it. Mm-hmm. 2, if he does see it, what do you expect like him to say to that? Like, he's going to look at you and be like, you're an idiot, you know? It's like, you're not accomplishing anything out of it. So it's a strange dynamic because, like you said, people think like they own these guys. Like, I drafted you, now all of a sudden I own you and I delegate how this performance is going to go down. And if you don't perform, I'm going to be pissed at you.
Like, you're ridiculing me because I didn't have such a good game. Because you decided to, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, if you want to start me on fantasy, that's cool. If you don't want to start me, that's cool. But I don't give a fuck what you have to say, whether I play good or not. And if you DM me, 9 times out of 10, when I DM you back, and I'm like, well, stand on it then, nigga. Like, what's up? You're going to be like, bro, I'm sorry, bro. Like, no, not even for real. Like,
that's the thing.
I'm really your
biggest fan. Then they answer, and they're
like,
oh, my God, he answered me. And then they're like, all right, oh, my bad. Like, nah, I didn't mean it like that. It's like
it's countless times that somebody's DMing me like, fuck you, you fucking suck. And I'm like, what's really good, nigga? Like, what's up, bro? Like, you talking all this shit? Bro, I'm really your biggest fan, bro. Like, I'm really sorry. Like, people don't like confrontation. That's what really comes down to the bottom line. Like, people don't like confrontation, and because of social media, they can not post themselves and just talk and say whatever they want, and then it's just gonna go fly by because of social media.
They ain't gonna say something in person too. Imagine like seeing that guy that you're pissed about.
Yeah, no.
You ask for a picture.
Yeah,
exactly.
You ask for a picture.
Yeah, that keyboard is a great protector, man. It's a bodyguard
bro, like,
for you.
You're really not gonna be on any type of time that you're like. I've seen somebody that was DMing me crazy, and I responded to him. He's like, bro, I'm sorry. Then I'm driving up to the facility or to the stadium, and he's like standing on the side.
Yep.
And he's like, bro, you remember me? Like, I'm looking at him like, yeah, I remember you, but like, you was talking crazy. Like, why would I? You're not somebody that I want to say what's up to, take a picture or something. I'm not doing that shit, bro. Yeah. You're a weirdo. So yeah. People be lame, man.
It's a wild situation, really, and I think the involvement of it is just something that like is dangerous for social media. Like, I see it all the time, and even through our relationship with players, we talked about this has waned, like media player. So, you know, if we don't have that genuine love for each other, like fans watch players because they love those players and they're passionate about them and their stories. Media can tell stories in a passionate way about players, and players respect each of the other bases based on that. Then like all of it deteriorates. Right. But you know, I guess to kind of transition a little bit back to what we see as a team, I want to circle in on one comment from Jordyn Brooks, linebacker this week. He talked about the game, and he essentially said that we played soft out there today. And look, soft's been a word that's been used a few times this season in a lot of different contexts. But coming from a player who's on the field, I think it holds a little bit of weight. And I think it's something that's interesting because the missed tackles were certainly a thing. We saw that, I think it's 20 plus missed tackles, right? And with all the talk about the cold weather, you know, I was in the Packers locker room after. Josh Jacobs, you know, for whatever it's worth, says them boys look cold out there, you know? And so some of this becomes a little loud where even though narrative is a word thrown around there, I think there has to be a response to like, okay, what are we seeing? What is really out there? What is happening versus how are we perceiving it as media and fan? And so like, as you were there, those two comments in particular, how do you view how you see it through those lenses?
Yeah, I think Josh Jacobs' comment, he can say whatever he wants to say because they won the game. So, I mean, he has the right to say whatever because they won. Was it cold outside? Yes.
It was cold as hell.
It was snowing.
Yes.
Was I cold? Not really. I was on the field. I was playing. Was it cold outside? Yeah. Was I wearing the necessary tights and long sleeves and the cover with the head? Yeah, I was wearing that. And I was sitting by the heater, or we have like heated seats. I was sitting on the heated seats, staying warm because I'm playing a physical game. But when I went out on the field, I wasn't focused on the cold because I wasn't cold on the field. I'm running around, I'm moving, right? Yeah. So, yeah, it was cold outside. Was I cold? No. Did we play soft? I would say we didn't play sound. I'd say we didn't line up correctly. Right. We didn't play complementary as a defense. It put us in positions where we had to make arm tackles, and Josh Jacobs, being a good running back, he ran through the arm tackles and other, you know, not breaking down correctly on certain routes and being in, you know, in compromised positions. Like you're gonna miss tackles if you don't have your footing. Was the ground soft? Yes. Was the ground thick and it was hard running through? Yes, because it's a different climate and the grass is different. So all of these factors lead into both missing tackles, not playing sound football, and a lot of that is perceived as soft. Whether it is or not, it's what's tagged as soft because we're the team that lost. So the media and whoever, JB or whatnot, they can say what they want about what happened. I'm going to continue to look at what it is, and I think that we didn't play a sound game. We weren't lining up correctly, and that put us in compromised positions, and that's why we was missing tackles. We didn't have our feet underneath us because we were trying to make up for being misaligned, and because we're not in the right position, we're going to miss tackles.
Right.
So all of that is encompassed into the fact that we need to improve on the little details, and the little details will put us in a better position. When you're dropping in cover 3 and they throw a flat route, your feet are underneath you if you're in the right position. So as soon as they throw the check down, you can break on the check down. Yeah. Then you're with the corner with the curl flat and the hook, or hook and hook and curl flat, and you're breaking and making a vice tackle. You know you got somebody outside of you, if not the sideline, so you can use your leverage and make a sound tackle. That's how you play football. That's how fundamentals and being where your feet are and having your feet together on a new surface that's both moist, cold, and wet, you'll be able to still make plays. So I think that it was an array of different things that were a factor in why we didn't have success. And all of those things we could have controlled, but we obviously didn't. So it put us in a position where, we're missing tackles. We're, letting these guys get these checkdowns going, for 20-plus yards. Certain pass interference penalties just really hurt us. Like third downs, we couldn't get off the field in the first half. So, I don't think, me personally, bro, I don't even, when all this cold narrative shit, they keep saying, oh, you can't win in the cold, Bro, everybody out there is cold. Everybody in the stadium is cold, unless you're in the dome. Yeah. The fans are cold. They're bundled up. The other team got heaters and fans. You can't have something on our sideline that the other sideline doesn't have. Right. So if we got heaters, they got heaters. If we got heated seats, they got heated seats. If we got coats, they got coats. The Packers offense, the receivers were standing on the sideline during the TV timeouts with coats on, waiting to come out because they didn't just want to stand in the cold. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea to stay warm until you got to go out there. Boom, then you're not thinking about it because the play starts. True. So I'm like, oh, bet, I'm going to do that. So I'm standing on the sideline right there next to Agba, right there next to Calais. It's just simple things about being a sports, an athlete that you have to do in order to perform well. Staying warm is one of the main things. So your muscles don't get cold. You don't risk yourself for injury. I get being cold is a narrative now. And back to what you said about trying to prove not to be cold, trying to prove that wrong. I 100% think that was in some of the guys' minds. Yeah. We're trying to prove that we're not going to be cold or that we're tough or the shoe doesn't fit. If the shoe don't fit, don't put it on. Yep. And don't even acknowledge that the shoe doesn't fit because if you acknowledge it, then that means that it's in your head. Right. I'll keep that noise outside is one of the main things that we say. We got to keep the outside noise outside. So that's not even acknowledging what it is that they're talking about because none of that shit matters other than just playing ball. Right. Because if we go out there and just play our game, then we just play our game. Focus. All right, look, the ground's going to be wet. It's going to be soft. You got to make sure you're wearing the right cleats. You got to make sure you wear the proper equipment because it's going to be cold as fuck out there. And you want to make sure that you stay warm, stay hydrated so that you can perform at a high level and then go ahead and go play. But if we keep focusing on, it's going to be cold out there, so go out there, don't show that you're cold, don't wear a long sleeve, or you're doing this or doing that. Bro, you're just feeding into the wrong shit. 100%. Focus on your job. Yeah. Yep. Focus on what you need to do to perform that day. And if you fuck up, then you fuck up. Then move on. Watch the film. Watch what you need to work on. During that week, work on it. Perform the next week. That's how you improve. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I just think that we focus too much on the shit that the media is saying because, like we said, it's a revolving door. Mm-hmm. They'll say one thing one week. They'll say one thing 1 hour. Then they'll say another the other hour. And then you won't know what side they're on, whether they're with you or against you. So obviously that shit don't matter. That shit don't matter. Just keep on doing your thing, man. Just keep on playing the game. Fuck what the fans got to say.
I think that the perspective is also key. Fuck you, Dre. Right? I think the reality is
if you're with me, I'll fuck with you. If you're not with me, fuck you. I don't care.
Right. But I think there's facts in this, right? There we go. Fan and player. We're good. The facts in this that I think are reality is anybody leaving from whatever their comfortable climate is going to have to adjust, right? The Bills, when they come down in September to play Miami, that is not their optimal, what they're used to. There are players from South Florida that play from the Bills that probably are used to it in the offseason. But as they prep for it, it's different in your home climate. Same for in Miami. I'm sure y'all have players who are from Green Bay, Wisconsin, like that is their home climate. But if you're in Miami for 3 or 4 months, you get acclimated. So I think
even time zones, like
I think all of that is normal. But I think what you're mentioning, the mental aspect, is something that I see from the outside, which is why I think it's like I wanted to get your perspective on that, because like from the outside, and even when it comes to like playing the Bills, right? There becomes a mental aspect of a mental hurdle of once we haven't done something in a while, it becomes we have to prove that we can, versus just the reality of, hey, it just hasn't gone our way a few times and this is a new atmosphere. So that's something that's got to be changed mentally rather than just a whole blanket, this team can't play in the cold. One more thing I want to put on the Dolphins before we move on there. There's a lot of conversation going on in Philly about how they're playing really good defense. Vic Fangio is the defense coordinator there. Obviously, he was in Miami last year. They have the number one defense currently in Philly. I really want to get really perspective here, because I think there's a lot of conversation of like, okay, well, why didn't this happen in Miami? Why is it different here? Is it the type of players, there were things said about Vic coming in and out where people were like putting microscopes on that. How do you view what's going on in Philly compared to maybe what was going on last year with Vic as a DC?
Last year with Vic, I mean, Vic is a tremendous football mind. Like he knows ball, right? I respect his football mind. I respect his football game and his system. So in his system, I mean, we were playing high level defense. We had a game early in the season against the Bills that we didn't play well against, and then the game later on in the year where we got beat by the Baltimore Ravens, and mostly because we didn't take advantage of the opportunities that we had, and on top of that, we had a lot of dudes like that got hurt. So we were dealing with some shit, but Vic had us playing high level ball. I think around like week 7 or 6 was when we really started to kick it on against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, I mean, it was tied up 17-17 at half off Jerome Baker's pick 6. And I thought we were playing well. Then we get to week 10 when we went to Germany to play the Chiefs. We held them to 14 points. We were playing high level ball. You know what I'm saying? And then the rest of the year, like we continued that. So, I expected this success with them. It takes a while to figure out Vic's defense because a lot of this stuff is like, it's kind of like one word when they call it. So it's not really telling everybody what they have to do in the call. So you kind of have to figure out, your role, your job, yada, 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 the intricacies of the defense. But once you figure it out and everybody kind of understands where everybody's going to be, you trust each other, then it starts to roll. And things really start to pick up. Opportunities for, interceptions, strip sacks, fumbles, sacks, things like that really start to show up. So I'm not surprised with the success that they're having because Vic's defense works. That's why he's been a coach in the league since, coaching Sam Mills on the Saints. And I think last year was the same thing. With his departure, I just don't think that people realize that it wasn't necessarily football. It was more so just like personal. Yeah. They didn't mesh. That's why it was a mutual agreement. So it wasn't about ball really. Because I mean, we had a good defense, and Vic picked the majority of the guys that were there. I mean, the guys that we did add in. But yeah, I mean, you see everybody after that defense had success. You see Van Ginkel and Christian Wilkins and, Raekwon on the Colts. Like, guys left and had success, and some guys are still here. But, I mean, we had a hell of a defense, and we were playing at a high level too. So
yeah.
And I think this year too, the defense has been now the narrative the last couple of weeks because the offense has kind of been, back to its normal self. But you look at the numbers, it's not bad. Yeah, I think we're 8th in total yards on defense, 12th in points, or 13th in points. It's like the defense is getting stops. It's these pockets in the games that's like, damn, the defense is not getting a stop, And I think that's what's louder. But when you look statistically, like the defense is doing its job. And something that you've brought up multiple times, it's the 4th defensive coordinator in 4 years. Takes time to learn systems and get adjusted to play calling and things like that. And I don't think people realize that too. Like, it may take 10 weeks to get the defense to its full capacity, right?
Right.
You started this year with the thought of having a guy like Jalen Phillips on the roster, obviously Chubb coming in later in the year. You're missing pieces on defense. Kendall Fuller was out this week too. Like, and I don't want to play the excuse thing. Like, I hate playing that game, right? It's next man up mentality, and every team deals with injuries and all that. But at the end of the day, like, we've had multiple DCs, we've had different personnel problems, right?
DB coaches, you know, just
it's
different
a
people in different
rotating
rooms.
situation every single year.
The changing every year is like my first year I came in with Flo, and then I had G as DB coach. My second year, it was Boyer, and I had Steve Greger as DB coach. My third year, it was Fangio, and I had Ronaldo Hill and Joe Casper as a DB coach. Now I'm with Weave, and I got Brian Duker and Ryan Slowick as a DB coach.
Right.
So that's 6 to 8 people total, all of them thinking something different. All of them wanting me to play different. All of them wanting to for the defense to look different. And you have to adapt every year and, kind of mold yourself into their ideal. And so, yeah, I mean, it does take time.
Yeah.
Not an excuse for
not an excuse at all.
I think majority of the time, like you said, the offense was rolling and the defense wasn't really picking up. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. Also, while being ranked, whatever we're ranked, we're shooting ourselves in the foot in the games that we do lose.
Right.
Like things that we can take advantage of, small mental things that we were doing. So it's not even like the team is just completely going out there and out scheming us, out just completely whooping our ass. Because if they do, tip my hat to them, go to the next week. But a lot of the stuff that we're doing, I feel like we're shooting ourselves in the foot just by alignment before the play even snaps. So, yeah, it's frustrating, but it's a part of the game. Like it's a game of inches for a reason because it's such a small margin to win because it's very difficult to win in this league. Yeah. And it's any given Sunday. So if you're not on your P's and Q's during the game, if you're not on your P's and Q's before the game, in the week, and as you prepare, then you're going to, come into the game and figure out these are things we need to work on because we're falling short here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reality is we're going 10-7 and we're sneaking into the playoffs, so it's all good.
Speaking into existence, right?
But let's move on from Finn's talk. Let's do our mental health check-in. How we feeling? You guys traveling this week, but how we all doing?
Okay.
Doing all right. Definitely travel was a lot this week. Holidays. You eat all that Thanksgiving food, man. Coming back that Monday, bro, you gotta get it off.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I got out there running, bro. I could feel every ounce of mac and cheese, every ounce of turkey on me. So it takes you a day or two to get back into like the flow back from holidays. But yeah, it's all good. Everything is smooth on my end. I think I got a chance going to Green Bay to squeeze in family time. Like people always ask about the job, like, and I'm sure they do for your perspective, like how you integrate family, right? And this week was a perfect example. Thanksgiving's a family holiday, right? I had to go to Green Bay for work. My wife and daughter, Bree and Layla, I brought them with me to Chicago. Went to my grandparents' house. They spent Thanksgiving there, and then I drove the 4 hours to Green Bay on Wednesday and then back on Friday, right? Extra driving, tiring, but you try to figure out ways like we talked about last episode with E-Rob, like being intentional with that 10, 15, 20% that you may have in the season. So I was happy we got to do that. My body's just a little tired because of it, but that's worth it because you create memories with your family that you can't get back. So,
yeah.
Thanksgiving was smooth. I had a little Friendsgiving with some teammates and my lady had cooked and I just was eating the food, the leftovers on the way here. That's why I got this stain right here because I dropped a turkey bone, bro.
Hey, it must have been smacking, bro.
It was smacking, I'm not gonna lie. And I was smacking at the light, window down. I was listening to New Kendrick, and I looked to my left, and there's this homeless dude that was standing right there with an I'm hungry sign. And I'm like, mid-bite of some mac and cheese. I was like, damn. Like,
yeah, you couldn't tell him I don't got nothing for you.
Like, damn. I threw him 5. I threw him a quick 5 because I was like, I felt bad because I couldn't give him the plate because if I gave him the plate, it would be against my DNA to let that food go. So I gave him a little 5. But anyway, food was great. It was, it was good times, good vibes. We had it on Saturday, real chill. Golf this weekend. Switched my irons back to because I had switched to the Golf Pride Jumbo grips, right? +3. Because I'm like, all right, let me get a little. Right, but I was with the Jumbo Max grips, and that was my go-to. Switched it up to the Golf Pride, the feel was gone. I mean, it was.
I don't know why
bad.
you did that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I did. I don't know why I did.
Golf is about feel.
It's about feel. The
Yeah.
only connection with the club are the hands,
Yes.
and I just completely fucked it. So I switched them back, medium, Jumbo Max, blacked out, ultralight grips. Speaking of which. Got some for you today, gentlemen.
Nice,
you know what I'm saying?
nice.
Just two, because I want to make sure y'all feel them.
Yeah,
really, you know what I'm saying? See
little
if you guys
Jumbo
like
Max
them.
grips, yeah.
Not too big, not too small. It'll get your hands in the right position.
Yeah.
But when I switched them back, as soon as I got on the course, I knew. I said, yeah, this is the reason.
Hey.
And it just felt real comfortable.
We're going low.
Yeah,
We're
can't
going
wait to
low.
try these
Got
out.
y'all
Yeah.
connected with that, but switched my game back, and it felt great. And I'm gonna be golfing later on this week. Just get my mind off it and chill. But yeah, Thanksgiving was good. Made some brownies. My girl, she made my mom's recipe is this. It's like anybody got allergies to?
No.
Okay, so my mom.
No peanut butter though, right?
Butterscotch.
Oh, that's fine. That's okay. Not peanut butter.
So we call them disappearing brownies. It's like a cookie/brownie. It's got marshmallows and chocolate and butterscotch. Ooh. And then my girl made these coconut cookies that her mom makes, and they're both fire. But y'all go ahead and try them.
Oh.
And on top of that, I went to this restaurant called Runway 84, and they had these strawberry candies, and my grandma used to have these in her purse, so I just had to bring those too.
Yeah.
But it's the season of giving, so I got some more stuff. I had gotten a box of golf gear. I had got a box of golf gear. Vaughn right here, you know? Hey, I had got a box of golf gear, and shout out to the Parfait collection. He sent me a bunch of stuff. I gave it back to gave some of my teammates, but little Bogies and Beers hat.
Ooh.
Saying nothing crazy. I got some extra
little Masters colors too.
Vincent, some tees. Some tees. Yep. Got some shirts here. In case y'all want to grab them, some colorful shirts.
Yeah.
And then this is like a Bogies and Beers golf favorite drinking game. I don't really be drinking that during the season on the course, but fireballs and get after the fireballs after the off season. But yeah, so you go per tee box, you got a tee. Like this one says, talk birdie to me. If you miss the green, drink. Furthest from the pin, drinks twice. So just a little game, but
yeah, that's dope.
That's dangerous.
I got an extra one back at the crib. I'll give you one when I see you. But yeah, Sirski.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem.
So if we're talking about food, I gotta ask you. This is a conversation a lot in the Black community. How many days do you get for leftovers?
I'm not gonna lie, I gotta
because I was trying to do the math. You said Saturday. Today we're filming on Tuesday.
Right. I'm still eating leftovers. They got about a week. I'm not gonna lie, they got about a week. And I'm doing the smell test.
Oh yeah, there's still leftovers getting eaten.
Not the vision test.
A week
the smell
is crazy.
Test.
I'm not gonna lie.
Because look, when I put
Sunday,
the leftovers
Monday.
together, my girl, she had gotten these takeout boxes.
Yeah.
So when our guest leaves, they could take a takeout. Right.
Smart.
So
look
she
at that.
Homely,
That's dope.
She is a genius.
Yep.
So she
Smart,
packed them.
Shout out Amanda.
Shout out to Amanda. She packed them in the it would be like a lunch, like a little lunch pack, right?
Yeah.
Like a little Tupperware. But that's how she packed it, and it was like per meal. So
Damn.
I could just grab it and throw it in the microwave. So we got about 4 or 5 containers left.
Got you. So you planning to
Each
eat
one
them,
though is one meal
for another 2-3 more days?
I'm planning to eat it on 2 or 3 more days. I ain't gonna lie to you, my boy. My homeboy's coming out here on the morning of Thursday. He might be able to get some leftovers to try them. They got about a week.
So I'm 3 days. I'm 3 days and out, bro.
It's gotta stretch out
3
more
days
than
and
that.
out, bro.
Crazy for that.
Too much time goes into making it.
Saturday
3 days
is my last day, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No.
Like
A week might be too much. I think like 5 is a sweet spot.
Everybody's got different perspective. That's why
Sunday,
I wanted
Monday,
to create the
Tuesday.
conversation.
I'm day 4.
Hey, y'all in the comments,
You're
tell
good.
us how many days
You're
you feel like leftovers from Thanksgiving. Because Thanksgiving leftovers are different than regular leftovers.
Right.
Regular leftovers might be a day or 2.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Thanksgiving leftovers, you get a little
You
bit
gotta
more
stretch
room.
that out.
I'm just hard at 3. I understand the 4. The week is a little crazy though.
But
Y'all,
for
y'all
you,
let me know, y'all let me know.
But for you, is it because you're just tired of eating it, or is it because you just don't think it's good anymore?
I think there's at some point the quality because of just from the health perspective. Like I don't think that food, like how long is cooked food supposed to sit in the fridge?
Where is your basis of this, like how long food can stay in the fridge?
Especially certain foods.
Like what?
Based on dairy, like mac and cheese, bro. I'm not about to 5-day-old mac and cheese. I'm not about to smack. It's just not. You
gotta heat that up with a little barbecue sauce on the side. It might go crazy.
Nah, bro.
You sound crazy. I'm not gonna lie, my boy. You sound crazy.
All right, this is.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking up the science behind it.
And then tell me the name of the person that wrote the article once you find it.
Yeah, you gonna see what it sounds like.
But I'm saying, bro, look. After we made the turkey growing up, we had turkey soup, turkey salad, turkey sandwiches, turkey dressing.
Yeah.
We damn near showered with the turkey the way we was eating it.
Hey man, I'm just scared of that stomach grumble, dog.
No.
I'm not gonna lie. If Thanksgiving dinner is cooked on Thursday, bro, it should not go into the next week. It should not we should not be
crazy.
What does the internet say? Say 3 to 4 days, right?
If you making regular dinner, say you make chicken and rice, right?
Exactly. I'm eating chicken. I need to hear the evidence because y'all making me seem like I'm crazy for saying like 3 days.
3 days is wild.
According to the United States Department of Agriculture, you can safely eat cooked leftovers in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 days.
3 to 4 days, bro.
What's today? Sunday, Monday,
You're on day
Tuesday,
4.
Wednesday. Sunday, Monday.
You're in the clear.
Whoa, would you consider this Saturday?
So Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Okay,
yeah.
So this is day 4. So technically you okay right now. But you were talking about Thursday. That's day 6.
I'm still good. I'm telling you, I'm going smell test, man. I'm going smell test.
That's fair.
All right, you're gonna be
That's
like
fair.
Najee Harris. This week he was he said he was having a little stuff going on with his stomach. He ate too much banana pudding. You know, we gonna all of a sudden we gonna get an injury report. Von out for Friday practice. Illness. If you wonder what those illnesses is,
bro,
it's not all sickness.
If it starts
it's
smelling
sometimes
weird,
the stomach
be
be bubbling a little bit.
Plus,
can't get off the toilet.
I'm zapping it in the microwave for about, you know what I'm saying, 2
you put
minutes.
it in the microwave, it kills the bacteria. You're good.
Kills the bacteria, man.
Y'all
Come on
are
now.
wild.
Okay, real quick. Before you cook chicken, do you wash it?
Yes.
Okay, because some people don't wash their chicken,
Yes,
and they say
course.
that say you bake it 400 degrees.
No. You need to wash it.
So
You
the
need to
400 degrees don't kill the bacteria.
Chicken, wash collard greens need to be washed.
Yeah, I did that.
All of that.
Don't disrespect me. I wash it. I made the greens. I wash them, right? But so you're saying 400 degree chicken the bacteria doesn't get killed by 400 degrees?
But just in case.
But cold water is gonna clean it.
Yeah.
What you clean it with?
So
with water.
You don't clean it with like no vinegar, no salt.
I mean, like you use your hands to scrub off all the extra excess.
I'm just wondering. Since you got all the criteria about what and I can and can't eat after a certain amount of days.
I'm not saying you can do whatever you want.
No, but you're definitely shunning me. You're definitely shunning me. You're definitely throwing.
I just wanted to get perspective.
I felt the bombastic side eye. I felt
fair.
the bombastic side eye coming from this direction.
I will stand on this hill. A week is crazy.
And I'm gonna be going like this in about 2 more days, still rubbing my stomach.
Yeah.
Man, anyway, I want to move on.
Yeah.
I see you walked in with some kicks, man. Walk me through the fit.
Yes.
As we do our weekly fit check today.
Okay. I got something a little light on. Shoes or toes. So I got this My Calls, My Cleats week. I got these not ankle socks. I got these little Air Force Ones, custom made, all juice team. Therese Paylor Memorial Scholarship. Guy named Mark Arrington, that boy good, created them. Shout out to the Texans for all they've been doing for My Calls, My Cleats. But these are dope because my boy Therese died a few years ago. He was a reporter for the Yahoo Sports. He was like the OG connector to the young dudes. Like he was in the middle. You know, you got the OGs, they don't necessarily connect always with the young folks, and the young folks, there was separation. He was cool with everybody. So great at what he did, so connected with players, dude I really respect in this industry. So he created a scholarship and foundation with the University of Missouri. So had him make it in the University of Missouri colors, blue and gold. And so had that, got some got a little Zara jacket. Y'all know how I feel about that. Got a little Zara jacket.
I know he was on there for Cyber Monday.
Yeah, you know, gotta get a little Zara action. I got a little Wu-Tang Clan graphic tee. Got this. This is merch, and then these pants. These actually might be like TJ Maxx pants. Actually, to be honest, a little cargo action.
TJ Maxx got some gems.
They do, bro.
They do. Maxx, Marshalls. I'm trying to tell you.
And it's comfy too.
They do damage in
like
that
a
place.
little $30 pants there sometimes.
Facts.
That's what you need. So
what you got, Andre?
I did a little Black Friday shopping. I'm Lulu head to toe. Lululemon.
Ooh.
Yeah, bro. Got these like 50% off. They were like $60. Got this jacket for like $30. I went off at Lulu.
Yeah.
Spent like $300, which you would think on a typical day is like 2 things.
Yep.
But I left there with like 6 different things. It was solid shopping day, and I don't do that.
Yeah.
And then just some high top Nike kicks, and got the movement watch and the Malbon hat.
Fire.
For the cause.
Kept it simple. Got the, you know what I'm saying, the LA fitted, gray brim. Legends tee. Had to throw the Oregon Duck.
The Ducks.
Ducks. Go Duckies. Had to throw the Oregon Duck.
Team in the
only
country,
undefeated team in the country.
They're going to be number 1.
Somehow we're only slotted ninth. Like 9% of the committee is voting us to win the, like, what are we talking about?
You got proven wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, people hate on the Ducks because we got the nicest gear, the nicest facility, and now the nicest team, and they're hating on us. Yeah. And then some Flux, I wore these last week, but some Flux like low top. They're like super bendy and
they look comfortable.
flat, but they're super comfortable. They got like these little orbs on the bottom of and like the sole of the shoe. And when I walk around like barefoot, they're super comfortable. So shout out Flux. Send me some more. But yeah.
Yeah, we seen the hat moving like T.I. throughout the episode. Yeah. You know what else people hate?
Oh! Finally got one. I got one. I got one.
Holler with the Wolf transition here. And since we were talking about college football and the Ducks, feeling great about the Ducks, I wanted to start this with the college football storyline that went wild this week. Rivalry week. Now it's really T.I.
I don't even know how you get that.
What's up with it, T.I.? Come at me.
It's really flag planting. There's a lot of rivalries this week, and after wins, the disrespect was on.
Yep.
And there was some flag planting, there were some exceptions taken, and there were some fights. You know, you could look at, I think, what was the first one? We had
the Michigan-Ohio State
Ohio State one
was really a brawl.
Yeah, they was on site.
Right.
You know, plant, no words. I think Florida and Florida State had a little bit of something.
Yeah, Norvell took the flag out of this.
Arizona State. Flag planting. Do we like flag planting? Do we dislike it? Do we think it's fair game?
I love it.
I'm
100%. If you don't like flag planting, win the game.
Yeah, exactly.
If you don't like them talking shit, win the game. I remember when Baker Mayfield did that.
Yep.
Like, if you don't like when a team is talking shit, win the game.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the bottom line. I think I was watching the Ohio State-Michigan game because obviously I wanted Ohio State to lose because, you know what I'm saying, Oregon. Big Ten. We own the Big Ten. Anyway, so 33, who I think he got a pick six or a pick on the goal line during the Michigan game. They brought the flag out. Michigan brought the flag out. 33 grabbed the flag and was like wrapping it up and everything. And then EQ dude came and grabbed it. And they had a video of 33 like yelling at whether it was like a coach or like a equipment manager trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
He was like, "Nah, fuck that, coach. Like they standing on I can't take that shit." And Ryan Day standing there just like,
oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
Like scared, like bro. I respect 33 for standing on business, 100%. But like, if you don't like it, win the game, bro.
On the real. I think it's hilarious, bro. I love flag planting, bro. Y'all know me. I want the nastiness coming back in rivalry.
Right.
I like the celebrations. I like all of the trash talk. Everything
keeps the rivalries alive.
I'm thinking about Michigan, who, that's the dope thing about college football rivalries. Michigan's 6-5.
Yep.
Ohio State's 11-0, I think, at that time.
11-1.
Yeah, 11-1.
Or
right?
10-1.
Yeah, that's right. They lost to Oregon. Correct me there. Good correct. But they were like cruising. Feel like they're going to be top 4 seed.
Right.
Doesn't matter in a rivalry game. Michigan had that smoke that day. They came out, beat them, and they want to put their mark on. They were like, y'all going to remember us this season. No matter what y'all do the rest of the year, y'all can go on and win the national title. Y'all going to remember that y'all got y'all butt whooped by Big Bro because we don't want 4 straight games.
4 in a row.
I love that type shit.
Okay.
And like you said, if you got a problem with it, win the game.
Dabo even came out saying like, there's no place for this in college football. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
This is exactly what college football needs.
Absolutely. I feel the same way how I feel about running the score. People get, I think Penn State, Maryland. Maryland's coach was taking exception, like you shouldn't have. Stop them. Win the game.
You don't like it, win the game.
He was like, I got my third stringers in there. You got your first stringers in there.
I'm
going to let them go play football.
I shouldn't have to worry about your feelings. I got a chance to get reps now.
And he made a good point too. Like you're trying to solidify a stance in the college football playoffs because everything goes into account. It's not just wins and losses. It's like how you win, eye test, all that. He's trying to solidify that they are a strong seed in the college football playoffs, and everything goes into that.
Right.
So fuck yeah, run the score if you need to.
Hell yeah. Another thing that was viewed by disrespectful from folks came in the NFL space. Right. Texans linebacker Azeez Al-Shaair has a hit on Trevor Lawrence as he's sliding. Lawrence gets concussed. They eject Al-Shaair. Brawl kind of starts from it. He gets suspended 3 games today. The Texans linebacker. There's a lot of commentary about the hit, the aftermath, and the suspension. Where do you guys stand?
I think in today's game, the quarterback slide is used against football players. It's used against defensive players. You see Patrick Mahomes do it all the time. Fake slide, he gets more yards.
Right.
Fake out of bounds, he gets more yards. So, whether Al-Shaair knew or didn't that he was sliding, and then it was late, and he was already there, and he didn't go with his head. He went with his shoulder. Like, it's a split-second decision. Like, these things happen in milliseconds.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's unfortunate that Trevor Lawrence got hurt and that he got knocked out. I wish he didn't. I also understand the reaction from Al-Shaair and why he did what he did. I'm not saying that he actually hit him on purpose, but he was going to hit the quarterback. Like, he's a runner, so he's going to hit him. He slides, he reacts late, he ends up knocking the quarterback out, and he has to take the penalty, which is him being ejected. 100%. I think the reaction to everything following the hit is the reason why he got suspended, and I think that he shouldn't get suspended for a hit. Yeah, it was bad. You can fine him for the hit, yada, yada, yada. But to suspend him for that type of hit, I don't think is right. I think it's difficult when, as a defender, you're trying to stop momentum. And yeah, the quarterback slides and whatnot, and you have to, let up and whatnot. And sometimes people don't let up. People end up following through and hitting the quarterback. We've seen intentional hits, we've seen unintentional hits, and we've seen everything in between. I think it's difficult to tell whether or not he's intentional or not.
Right.
But I think everything following that, the reaction to it was, like, at the same time, we still play a contact sport. This is football. And, the quarterback knows that if he slides late, he's putting himself in a compromised position and could possibly get hit. So I think it goes both ways. Like, they're both responsible for the way that went down.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, like you said. I mean, quarterbacks have almost kind of used it as an advantage to get out of hits, extend plays, right? So, I mean, as a defender, I'm sure it's tough to make the right play there.
For sure.
That one felt a little bit different. Watching it is like, kind of looked like he exerted a little bit more. Could have maybe took a little bit off the hit, knowing that he probably is going to slide there and not do like a fake slide or anything like that. But I saw a statement from the NFL saying the reason you're getting a 3-game suspension is because you continue to violate safety protocols or something like that. So I don't know, but has he done that multiple times?
That is a good point.
Yeah, he has a little bit of a history. I think earlier this year against the Bears, there was a hit on Caleb, and then also a punch thrown at one of the running backs, Roshan Johnson. Okay. And then a couple years ago, he had one against Tom Brady where he choked him essentially for a few yards.
Okay.
So,
Got you. Okay.
He definitely is a guy, let's just say he's a little bit on the borderline.
Yeah.
But I think the reputation thing is where a lot of the Texans took exception to, of people attacking his character, people attacking him as a man, getting personal on it, which I think is very dangerous. My take, I think he deserved to be suspended. That's just my take on this particular hit. I thought 3 was excessive. I think 1 probably would have done the job, given that he already got ejected. I did think that it was late and unnecessary. I think what you're saying is true. It's very difficult for defenders. One, the rules are set up for offensive players to win, and quarterbacks in particular have got the nuance of, I can fake a little bit that I'm going out of bounds on the sideline or even sliding to an extent. I view sliding as a little different than out of bounds. If you like somebody out of bounds and it's close, to me, there's no reason you should ever be suspended. Sliding is a little bit different because he's giving himself up. And I think the commentator on the broadcast said it great. There's a little bit of a respect level that you give when you see a guy going to a slide position, at least in my view. And so I just thought it was a little bit longer than what I consider close. That being said, when you look at where the reaction was, I think it's just guys taking up for their teammate. I think you would want that. So I actually have no issue with the aftermath.
No,
because any bad hit on your quarterback, you want your offensive lineman, you want your team to come back.
No doubt.
The Texans don't want to make their guy feel like he's on the island by himself, and so they want to defend. Even if they might have thought, that was late. It doesn't matter. At that time, that's your teammate. Right. So I just thought my biggest takeaway out of all of it was just some of the nasty commentary that came through Aziz. Even some of the Islamophobic. Good Lord, I'm butchering that.
Islamophobic.
Comments
Islamophobic.
Were very dangerous. There could be a bad penalty. He could have made a mistake that passed the lines of borderline that deserved to be suspended. There's still a respect level you give him as fans, as media, that I think was crossed on that end of it too.
It doesn't need to be that personal at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And fans take it there that somebody had leaked his address, his home address in the off season, and people were saying to send him pork and whatnot because he's Muslim. Things crazy. Like that get crazy. And back to your point about his past and his history, I didn't know that the NFL had said that. So that makes sense. If they have a past and a history of being somebody who crosses the line, kind of how they did Kareem Jackson when he kept like knocking people out, or the targeting rule, they suspended him. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, things get a little too personal for fans, I think, and they take it too far, especially online with death threats. Like,
yeah, that's wild.
Death threats is crazy to me.
We've seen it with kickers too, like after missing kicks.
That's what I'm saying. Like that shit just gets too far and too wild. Like you guys take it to another level.
You got to go to therapy.
Yeah. Let's do the last couple. I got 2 more I want to do really quickly so we can finish up. The Bears had a wild week. They played on Thursday as well.
Yep.
And so you guys might have been not be able to watch all of it, but there's a wild end of game sequence. They start to have a comeback. They've got a chance to potentially set up for a game-winning field goal. Clock is running, 28 seconds, goes pretty much to 4. Caleb changes the play. They have 1 timeout left. Instead of calling a timeout, they let it drip down, and he ends up taking essentially a deep ball towards the end zone. Definitely mismanagement of time. Day after, Matt Eberflus, the head coach, gets fired. A lot of players were very critical of him. DJ Moore said it should have been a timeout called. Jalen Johnson apparently went off on Matt Eberflus in the locker room. Veteran players, really good players. I guess I'll start here with you, Vaughn. Like, maybe give people perspective on the end of game situation. What are the rules? How do you view things, players versus coaches, and how that is typically handled?
Yeah, so timeouts are like one of the most important things that a team has, right? Because a lot of the time you could change an entire result of a game based off timeouts. So usually on a team, the people who can call a timeout are the defensive coordinator, if he's on the field, the head coach / offensive coordinator, and the quarterback. And that's really about it. A lot of the time, the head coaches know the situation. They're the ones who hold the challenge flag. They hold the timeouts. So if they feel the need to call a timeout, they call it. If the clock is running low, like they're in field position or just on the fringe of field position, and the play clock's running low, they'll call a timeout so they don't get backed out of field position, so you still have points. But in that type of situation, I mean, we talk about running clock. You've got to clock it. Like clock it is when, say you run a play and then you don't have any timeouts, or you're trying to save a timeout. Everybody runs to the line very quick. It's first down. You just got a first down, or maybe a second down. So the quarterback spikes it, the clock stops.
Right.
So because of it's considered an incomplete pass.
Yeah.
So you have that, but what the Bears did was just let time run, which is very shocking, especially being, what were they on, like the fringe or 30?
Yeah, they were on the fringe of field goal range. They probably could have kicked it from there. It would have been a long, probably 60-yard field goal. Right. But really, they just needed 10 yards maybe to make a comfortable.
It was also the plays that 2 plays right before where I think they got a illegal contact call, and then I think they took a sack.
Yeah,
and
for sure. For sure.
Like,
and to be honest, some of it's on Caleb too. He's a rookie, so you kind of hope your coaches take care of you in that situation. Right. But Caleb probably is not supposed to change the play as the clock's running with 30 seconds left. You probably just got to go to the line, have a play, and go.
Yeah.
Right.
So as I thought it was good context, like coaches, the main coach, defense coordinator, the quarterback, Caleb could have called timeout in that situation. But every team may have different rules. I don't know if he was told, hey, coach handles all timeouts.
Right.
You just go out there on the field. But I thought the end of game situation is so key because, as we talked about earlier in like this season, situational football is an element that I don't think a lot of fans understand, and that situation may have been the difference between a win and loss, and just maybe lack of communication or just a missed opportunity there, whatever it was. That's so huge for guys like Jalen Johnson described, who've been losing for 5 years for the Bears, that would have loved to have a huge win on that stage against that team. Like, that would have been big for them.
No doubt. I think, like, thinking about it now in the situation that they could have probably tried to put themselves in, they have a timeout, okay, they get the sack, and the clock is running. It's called an umpire alert. So once the ump backs up off the line of scrimmage, usually backing behind the quarterback, he raises his hand and the clock starts. So a lot of the time on hurry up, you see teams who sub, the ump will be standing there with his hand like this, but as soon as he backs up, they'll snap the ball because he's out of the way of play and he's saying, okay, the clock has started. So boom, they umpire alert, that he gets the play in, they make the call, set hut, they run an out route out of bounds, or the ball's incomplete, and then right then and there they call timeout because they don't want a Toro, which is they run the offensive line and the field goal in very quick, and usually it's around 13 seconds to be comfortable. 12 and a half is the fastest I've seen it happen, but they run them in around 13 seconds. They get set up by 3 to 2 seconds. They snap the ball, kick a field goal. They didn't want to have to stress that.
Right.
So they would call timeout after that said play, try to get a little bit extra yards to make it a closer kick. But if that play didn't work, then they were going to call timeout. Boom, bang it. If there's a second left, then they have time to get the field goal team in there. But like you said, maybe he changed the play and it took longer than expected. And but I think just the sense of urgency overall was pretty poor in that situation, and they could have definitely taken advantage of having a timeout and extra time on the clock.
Yeah, it's a passionate fan base. My dad's a Bears fan. They heard a lot over this. So you got
that game and then the Commanders game where they lost on the Hail Mary. So you look at two games right there that's
just end the game situation. You could be the difference, or being in a playoff hunt versus already preparing for next year.
I mean, that is actually that was what I was thinking of was the Commanders game. Like you see Jaden Daniels, they get in, they make the call. So they only had about one timeout left, or they might not have had any timeouts at all. But they ran a deep out cut, threw the ball out of bounds, got up to the 50-yard line, then they ran one more, got up like 5 or 6 more yards, and then that's where they were close enough to make that Hail Mary throw. Like if you don't use that that time that you're allotted to make those 2 pushes to get closer, they're not even speaking about a Hail Mary.
Exactly.
And they got extra loss on their belt. So no doubt.
For sure. Thomas Brown's now the head coach there, interim head coach. Really good dude. Got to know him. He actually interviewed for the Dolphins head coach job. So we'll see if he got a chance to win that one. But they definitely got to figure out how to help Caleb next year get to the next stats. Last Howling for me, we'll have fun with this one. Travis Hunter, the Colorado receiver / corner, who is probably going to win the Heisman, probably going to go top 3. Had a moment that went viral on social media a little bit. His fiance, after the game, they embrace. Travis has a great game, and she's clearly upset. She's clearly upset with him. He's coming to her thinking he's getting a little bit of celebration, love, and she's not at that mood right then. And as you can see her explain cheerleader, down the field. There was an earlier moment where he scored a touchdown. He may or may not have been talking or looking at the cheerleaders. And clearly it's something that she remembered. One, it was hilarious just to kind of see it because as a married man, I have been in several situations where I'm thinking about something else. I'm good vibes. And then your girl comes out and hits you with a brick of, nah, dog, we not cool. Let's talk about this. Von, you got a girl as well. Have you been in a moment like that before?
Yeah. Like I wasn't even at the game, like playing the game. We were at the Heat game, and I was like just looking across.
Yep.
I'm looking across the across the court, like literally about nothing. Like I'm just like we're just sitting there having a good time, and my girl's like, who was that? I'm like, who? And she's like, that person right there. I'm like, I have no idea. I wasn't even looking at, you know what I mean? And she's like, after that, she's good. She's like, okay. Like I was just wondering. I'm like, bro. Now I'm sitting there wondering, like, damn. Like,
that's
what
like
am I? Like,
that's like that that meme. I don't know if you've seen it, right? It's like a cartoon, and it's like the girl and the guy laying in bed, and the guy has like his back towards her, and he's like, oh, he's probably thinking about other girls, and then it's like him thinking about his golf swing or some shit.
Yeah. We really don't be thinking about that. We really don't be thinking about that. So I feel for Travis. I actually had a moment earlier this year, and we were joking about it, but I was doing TV at the Baltimore game, and I was doing a hit, and the Ravens cheerleaders passed by, and they're all like commenting like little stuff like, how do I get on TV? Nice suit, just kind of very innocent stuff, right? So the broadcast ends up running it after like all the like kind of like a sped up version of like all these cheerleaders walking by, and you can't hear, but you just see like a little laugh, a little chuckle. My wife sees it, she was like, what's so funny? What are y'all chuckling about? I'm like, dog, this is this and it. That one right there was chuckling a little too much. All right. I'm over here thinking I'm gonna get a review on my hit. Good job on the hit. Right. It's talking about, this is a little bit too long of a chuckle. And so I feel for Travis there. He may or may not have been looking at the cheerleader. Maybe he needed sunglasses at that moment. You need some glasses.
But that means his girl is there watching the game, and she ain't even watching the game. She's like,
bro, he went crazy. Travis went crazy. That was like his Heisman stamp. And he thinking like, hey, bro, you secured it on the Heisman. Great job, babe. You're like, what about that cheerleader?
That just goes to show, man, like no matter what it is, just little small things like that kind of, everybody can relate to them.
Yes, for sure. I think that's cool.
Absolutely.
Let's end this pod with.
Let's wrap it up with the.
Wrap it up. Yeah, we're about that. We're about that time. Pull it up right here real quick.
That's
some
jokes,
thoughts,
bro.
Yeah,
that's jokes.
He's in the doghouse, bro.
Yeah, I think they did a TikTok afterwards. They're like, we're good. Yeah. And I'm sure they were. It might have just been that 5 minutes afterwards. She had to express that.
It's also like, I know you're on your high horse. I got to give you shit right now.
Hey, it's why we love them and they frustrate us at the same time sometimes. But,
Facts. All right, let me pull it up here, my bad.
No, all good.
So today's Tranquilo Thoughts. So I wrote this today, and a lot of these just come to my mind as as I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna write this. So today was shift your identity. Shift your identity in the way you talk to yourself, in the way you think. When you shift your identity, you focus less on the results and you focus more on who you are. I am a student of life. I am a leader. I am healthy. I am strong. I am courageous. I am creative. I am an achiever. Focus on who you are. Watch how your life aligns with the identity you believe yourself to be. Shift your negative thoughts to positive ones, and your life will align with those thoughts on yourself.
I love that. I love that. Speak to yourself how you want to be. That's dope. Absolutely. That's dope. That's a good word.
You manifest what you put in your mind.
I love it. No doubt. Well, that's another episode of Breaking House Rules from myself, Von Dre. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, share this pod all throughout, and we'll continue to bring you guys some cool inside stories from our lives.
10-7, baby. Let's go.
Throw away those leftovers.